Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be my monthly haul for June. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Once a month, I like to come on here to share with you all the bits and bobs that I got my hands on, either in PR or if I purchased it myself. This month is a makeup purchases heavy month. These are not gifted in any way, shape, or form. And this month, I'm also including some skincare because I felt it was time to update and upgrade my skincare cabinet and add some new products in. So I bought myself some K-Beauty, mostly COSRX. To give them a try because I haven't tried much K-Beauty skincare yet, and it was something I still wanted to do. And I don't show a lot of skincare on here, it's mainly over on the blog. So if you ever wonder what's on my face or what skincare I'm using, all of those reviews as I'm using them go over on the blog. I try to post them on once a week on Fridays. It's either perfume or skincare. I'm a little bit behind in the category, but we'll get to it. I didn't have that much that I was using that was truly new to me, so nothing I could review, but I'm going to be remedying that with today's haul for sure. So let's get into the video, but it may be good to know before we do that I have certain preferences based on my skin makeup. When it comes to skincare, it's good to know that I have dry, dehydrated skin that can be quite sensitive, and in terms of makeup preferences, I come from a fair-skinned, cool to neutral undertone perspective. I've also been in the game for quite some time, so there's almost over a decade of skincare and makeup reviews over on the blog, so when I say something is a favorite, it's a favorite. And this channel mainly focuses on eyeshadow palettes, essence, and couture, and getting the use out of your products. So if you'd like to stay tuned for all of that goodness, I would like to invite you to join the Snow Angel Club by clicking subscribe down below. So let me just get the skincare out of the way first because that's on top and it's big. So I'm just gonna go through it. Like I mentioned, I placed an order on YesStyle for these things because it's all K-Beauty stuff. One of my favorite brands for skincare is actually La Roche-Posay. I try to use a lot of their products most of the time, but I also like some bits and bobs from the Body Shop, and I've talked about these things in the past. Skincare content doesn't do very good on this channel though, which is why you don't see me talking about it a lot, but that's why if you do want to see whatever it is that I'm using in terms of skincare, then just head over to the blog because every Friday I try to post a review, as I mentioned. So let me just go through it. At this point, I'm not entirely sure anymore what my reasoning was, but I try to not buy too many moisturizers because I still have a lot, but I don't think I managed quite well. But I'm definitely like getting low on things like serums and toners and those kind of things. So that's why I wanted to stock up on that mostly. So that's what you're gonna, just see me chatting about the most. From COSRX, I bought the Propolis Light Ampoule. I believe the Propolis line is like propolis, it has to do with bees and flower extracts, I believe, which is apparently really good for like toning down redness and things like that, if I remember correctly. I love Centella as an ingredient, I already know that, and their Centella water alcohol-free toner is one that is recommended for sensitive skin, so I wanted to try that. Another thing I'm low on is like a face mist. I love spritzing my face with a type of mist before I put on my morning moisturizer, and their Comfort Ceramide Cream Mist sounded really intriguing, so I wanted to try that. Ceramides is another ingredient that my skin really likes. So then I have another Propolis product. This is their Propolis Synergy Toner for the same reason that I wanted to try the Ampoule. I hope that this can, again, help my skin. Then I have the AHA Whitehead Power Liquid. Now, I'm not huge on chemical exfoliants because my skin is so sensitive. I try to stay away from it. However, I have heard great things about this and that it does work for sensitive skin, so I can at least try it because I knew I was going to get quite a bit anyways, and YesStyle also had a deal when I placed this order. Then I also have their AHA and BHA Vitamin C Daily Cream. I love vitamin C as a skincare ingredient, but I do tend to layer it with other products like underneath it. So I tend to like wedge it in between other products so that my skin isn't too sensitive. I haven't tried their vitamin C, but overall vitamin C is a product my skin likes. And then I also have the Advanced Snail Mucin, I don't know how to pronounce that word, Gel cleansers. Cleansers I am always on the hunt for. Since you rinse them off, I don't really feel they need to be super duper expensive. But I just don't want them to be very drying on my skin. That's the only demand I have. And I love a gel cleanser in the morning. And if you think that's it, no, because I've got a bit more here. I also bought the Comfort Ceramide Cream, which is apparently really good for an extra bit of hydration, like a good moisturizer. I also got the Green Tea Aqua Soothing Gel Cream. This sounds like it could be right up my street. I like these more lightweight moisturizers for the morning time for sure. And then some more COSRX. I also bought their sunscreen, the Aloe Soothing Sun Cream with an SPF of 50. This is very much raved about. I'm almost done with my La Roche-Posay one, and then I want to try one from CanMake. And then I'm going to be on to this one. I use a bit of SPF every single day, just in case you were wondering. Then I also have a serum from them from their Sika line. So Sika is another, I don't remember the full word for it, but that's another ingredient my skin tends to like. I have the Propolis Honey Overnight Mask. I love a good overnight mask instead of a nighttime moisturizer. And then I also bought the Advanced Snail 96 Mucin, whatever, however you pronounce that, Power Essence. So a lot of things that I would use as like a first step in my skincare routine, and I try to stay away from things like moisturizers because I still have so many things that I could use for moisturizer, but there was something there. And then I also got some things from Holika because they have a ceramide based line. So this is the Good Cera Super Ceramide Mist, so another mist for me to try. Because this way I have two in backup because the one I have is almost out. And then I also bought the Super Ceramide Cream because this I think is a bit heavier, I hope, so that can be a good like nighttime one. I don't plan on using all of this in one go. I tend to use up a skincare product before I move on to the next thing. But like I mentioned, I was really noticing my skincare cabinet just being low on things like toners and serums. So I definitely needed to get a couple of those things back into the game so that I can start using them as things go on. And I wanted to try K-Beauty, and now I've pretty much bought all of the products I was interested in from K-Beauty brands just to give them a try. I've heard great things about COSRX. I know that James Welsh, who's a skincare influencer, loves them. So, and I've heard great things about their products, so I definitely want to give them a whirl. Then I also went to Paris at the start of May. I took a 2-day trip to Paris. I vlogged it over on my other channel, so if you'd like to see what I got up to, then I can link that in the description box down below. And sadly, the Sephora I normally go to on the Champs-Elysees was having a refurbishment done, so the store they had that was open was half the size, and so much was out of stock. The entire place was ransacked and super busy, but I did manage to pick up 3 things. However, none of these things were actually on a wish list, save for, well, one thing kind of was. Because the thing I had been on the hunt for was the Tartelette Energy palette by Tarte. This was announced already in like October and November. Like around that time, I put it in one of my new makeup releases video, and whenever I've been to Paris, I had not been able to find it. This is what the palette looks like on the outside, and it's like, you know, if you take the Juicy, if you take the In Bloom, and you take a little bit of the Toasted and you fuse it into one palette, you get this. I have the other 3, which is kind of why I wanted to have this as well. But it's got this like row of cool tone plummy shades, which I thought was interesting. And then it also has this like burgundy pinky sort of level shades. And then these like bronzy brown. So what I love about the Tartelette palettes, and it's a reason why I have all 4 of them now, is because they just have a really nice blend of something neutral, something cool toned, and something warm in every single one of them. And they're very foolproof. If you're a beginner with makeup, the Tartelette Energy palette I think is another good one. I'm not entirely sure whether this Gala Story is going to be my favorite, but I think I'm going to like it better than the Juicy. I think that this is what this one is what I wanted the Juicy to be. And then I saw that they had an REM Beauty display. So REM Beauty is Ariana Grande's line, and I saw this last summer when I was in London, and then there was nothing that really appealed to me. But because there was so much out of stock, and I was like, okay, I want to try something that's new to me, and REM Beauty is a brand I've never tried, and I love trying a couple of new brands to me every single year. So I picked up the corrector, not the concealer, but the corrector. And maybe it's just because the makeup artist who helped me out did such a good job of selling this to me, but it looks really pretty. I haven't swatched these yet. I've kept them fresh. I haven't taken pictures of them yet, so I can show them to you fresh in the video. What shade is this in? I think it was shade 5. Yes, light 5N, and it also happened to be in stock. And then I also got one of their potted eyeshadows. I am currently not really digging eyeshadow palettes, I'm gonna have to say. I really, really love just reaching for something like this in a little pot or a little doe foot applicator, like a liquid or a cream shadow. That's currently really my vibe. And this is the, oh, what's this thing called? I don't remember what the product is called. It's the Midnight Eyeshadow Metallic Gel Eyeshadow in the shade Affirmation. And I'm not sure if you can see, but it's really pretty. It's this plummy shade and it goes on with almost everything. It's this really nice lighter metallic. You definitely need to give it a good seal because these tend to dry out really quickly, the makeup artist said. So she actually checked it in store for me to see whether this one was okay. So I hope it lasts, but I do have Inglot's Duraline, so even if this gets a little bit dry, if I just put a drop of Duraline in, I'm sure I can keep this forever. So those were the only bits I picked up in Paris. I thought I was going to buy so much when I was there, and then I just kind of didn't. I had a bit more budget left, so that's actually why I did one of the other purchases that I'm showing you today. But one thing I also wanted to get was some more Glam Shop. And I actually picked up 2 of the newer palettes that I hadn't tried yet. And then they had an older one that was on sale. So I think it's actually on its way out. So let me start there. It's the Violetta, or Violetti, I think. So it's, I think, Polish for purple. In case you don't know, Glam Shop is a Polish indie brand. So if you're in the EU and you don't want to pay for customs, then this is a good one. It comes with these little weird like foams that they put on top of the shadows to protect them in transport. And mine are still on because I haven't even swatched this yet for you. This is what their purple palette looks like. It's a little pink leaning, I thought, but I kind of bought this with the idea of, well, it was half off in their sale, which I thought was a good deal. And it's, I think, a good complementary palette to the Very Perry that I already own. So I have a periwinkle palette from them. And I think some of the shades that are in this palette can be really nice with the Very Perry. So I can't wait to try this. I know I love my Glam Shop eyeshadows. They have some lovely quality. And if one of the brands that I'm showing you today is out of reach for you because you're in the EU and you don't want to get things from the US, then this may be a good one to look into because Glam Shop has some amazing quality eyeshadow palettes. But then they came out with a coffee-inspired collection in the fall time, and they actually discontinued my favorite cool tone palette by them, the Coco Sanka, which is no longer available, but I was hoping that the Zimna Mocha, which I think is something like cinnamon mocha, I think that that's because Zimt is German for cinnamon, so I'm sure that this is very similar to that. I'm not sure. And this just seemed like a really pretty, light, cool tone neutral eyeshadow palette. At least that's what I'm hoping. Let me take those little protectors off. It's not the same as Coco Sanka. That's definitely more intense. But there are 2 more palettes in this lineup. Most of them were out of stock though. This was still available because it is very light and very cool tone. The other ones seem to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more warmth in there, but I just knew the minute this launched that this would be right up my street, so I was very happy that they still had it in stock. It has all the shades I love. It's got some really nice taupey grays, at least it looks like it. Some good like mattes as well. And I think this could be actually more similar to the ColourPop That's Taupe than the original Coco Sanka did. So I'm really excited to play with this. I think another really good cool toned eyeshadow palette for all of the fair tone people that are watching my channel. Now this one I definitely cannot pronounce, but it's a green palette that they're doing, and this was announced just a couple of weeks ago. And this is one that I wasn't actually sure I was gonna get. But you know what? I like green eyeshadow, and even though warm tones aren't my favorite, I don't mind it if it's in a color that I do like, if that makes sense. I mean, today I'm wearing something that's very warm toned as well. And I get a lot of comments actually from people saying that I look okay in warm tones. I know, trust me. I know I can pull off a warm tone. I don't always love it on myself though, but this, I couldn't say no to. I mean, the only warmth you really get is on this side of the palette, and everything else is just some really lovely green tones. It's got some really lovely sparkly shades. Glam Shop is really good at doing some very high impact shimmers. They do some multi-chromes and duochromes in a lot of their palettes as well, and especially the shades in this corner. I'm really looking forward to playing with this. So the Glam Shop green palette, the new one that they came out with, I was a little bit on the fence about it at first, but then I looked at it again on their website and I was like, you know what? I think I might like that. So let me then show you actually the thing I got last this month, but I got this because I didn't buy so much in Paris, and it's already here because I was able to buy these Zoeva Velvet Love eyeshadow palettes through Douglas, which has next day delivery over here. So I got 3 of the little quads to try just to see what they can do. They are tiny, like they fit in the palm of my hand. I thought they were gonna be a little bit bigger, especially for how expensive these are. These are 28 euros each. Again, I haven't taken pictures or taken swatches of these, so I have no clue about the quality. Some people in the comments were already saying how they decluttered theirs because they felt there was not a lot of variety. But I decided to just buy a few that appeal to me. But I don't think that you need all 8 because I think there are 8 different ones. And they all seem pretty similar to me anyways. So this is the one in Beautiful Bright Eyes. And I wanted to try this because it's the most cool tone neutral option that they do. Plus it has a matte, which not all of them do. Quite a lot of these are quite like, not even shimmer heavy, but satins. They seem to be very satin heavy palettes, which, you know, Zoeva can do really good eyeshadow, so I hope I like them. Then I also bought Glorious Golden Eyes, which you may not expect from me from the name, but I think this doesn't look that gold. It actually has a straight up taupe in here, like a gray shade. And the actual cool tone palette they have is just straight up grays. Like their Smoky Eyes palette is just really boring grays. So I didn't want to go with that. And I thought that this could be nice with the other one I just showed you. The one I really wanted to try was Emerald Green Eyes, which is this one. Because this is the one that instantly appealed to me the most. And it has all shimmer. It doesn't have a single matte. There seems to be varying levels of shimmer, but I'm not entirely sure. I can't wait to test these out to see how they work out. I think, yeah, these are going to be tested out in August. I'm still testing out some K-Beauty eyeshadow in June and July. And then in August, in that palette review, I will be testing out these little Zoeva things and possibly also the Tarte and the Glam Shop things for sure. And finally, as I already mentioned, in my new makeup releases video at the start of May, I placed myself a ColourPop order because they came out with the Lavish palette. So let me show you that first. Ooh. So the Lavish palette, the minute I spotted this on Instagram, I was like, I have to try it because it looks like it could be like the ColourPop version of the Glam Shop's Very Perry. This has my name written all over it. It's light, it's really lovely, and I hope it's the good ColourPop formula. I tried the Troublemaker a couple of months ago and realized, you know, ColourPop can still do good eyeshadow. It's just that ColourPop quality is a bit wishy-washy, so sometimes you get the products and you're like, is this what everybody's raving about? Whereas other times they do things and it really wows you, and that happened to me with the Troublemaker. But because just getting the one palette is a no-go for me, I decided to buy a few other things. So from the same collection, they were actually doing some new Super Shocks. So I got the 3 Super Shocks because I love a Super Shock eyeshadow. I have the one in Angelic. Can you see that shade? I don't think you can. So Angelic is this really nice, like lighter, icy lavender kind of shade, which we all know I love. Like these kind of Super Shocks are actually my favorite because you can just like put them a little bit on your eye and then you're good to go. Then this middle shade is so surreal, which is more purpley leaning. It's a bit more of a periwinkle, which looks like this. It's got a really nice duochrome flash to it from what I can tell. And then I have the deeper one, and this is Social BB. The names on these products sometimes, oh well. And this is what that one looks like. It actually reminds me a lot of Bay, which I used to have, but that's like a very deep, like purple with a blue flip, and this seems to be like more of a true purple. But like I said, just getting one palette is not worth it, so I wanted to make sure I could hit free shipping. So I threw in a couple of other palettes that were on my wish list. The Deja Brew is one that I completely missed out. It was even released. Like, I had not seen this being released at all. But it's like a new version of the Going Coconuts. That's what it looks like to me. Like, it looks exactly like Going Coconuts, but I was still intrigued, and the reason why I was intrigued is because I follow a makeup artist over on TikTok, and she uses this all the time, so I saw it was a ColourPop palette she was using for a lot of her looks, and I was like, I don't know why, but I'm intrigued. And there were actually 3 ColourPop palettes that were still on my wish list, but that I kept on the back burner because I first wanted to see what the quality of the Troublemaker was like, and then these went out of stock and I couldn't get my hands on it, at least one of these, but then they were back in stock. So guess what? Yes, I finally got my hands on the Pretty Please, which is one of their 12 pans, and it's just lovely, like pinky cool tone shades. The middle row is a bit more warm tone perhaps, but especially that bottom row, calling my name. And I think I like the top row as well with that nice cool toned grayish brown there. And it's light. I mean, we all know I love lighter palettes like this because I am so fair toned. It just makes for very quick, easy looks, and it doesn't mean I have to blend for hours. The other palette I wanted to get was the Petals on Point, and it's like the 9-pan version of the Pretty Please, really. I actually saw quite a few creators ranking this quite low in like monthly rankings they're doing, people like Samantha March. But look at this. I mean, it's like Natasha Denona retro glam, but make it cool toned. Like cool toned all of the way cool toned. The entire bottom row is cool toned. Then you get to like very light minty green shades. You get to pinks in the middle, and then these 2 lighter neutrals here. I keep buying this color story because I love it, and I thought it looked really pretty, and I was glad it was in stock. And then the last palette I have to show you is actually a palette that I put in my cart and then took out so many times because I didn't want to make the orders in the past too expensive, and now I was like, oh, okay, I just need an extra thing to hit free shipping, so I bought the Off Melrose, which ColourPop calls a cool tone palette. And then I got it home, and I was like, I don't find you that cool toned, to be quite fair. I mean, it's got quite a lot of warmth, especially in like these like neutrally shades, like, and also this, like it's quite warm toned, but maybe it just has a really nice blend of things. I definitely think it can work on me as a more neutral toned option for sure, but ColourPop calling this cool toned on their website, if you think that and you agree with them, I think you've got an eye disease or an eye problem because this is not a cool tone palette. It's neutral, but it's definitely not cool toned. So those are the products that I have to show you in today's video. Some of these products I have had for quite some weeks and I still have to take pictures of them, so I'm gonna make sure to do that as soon as possible so I can try some of these out. I think the ColourPop things are gonna be my like September eyeshadow palette trial because I have 5 palettes exactly, and then we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing around with these things. A lot of skincare, which is just going to go into rotation as we go along. So I hope you're here for the ride, that you have some more content to look forward to. And of course, remember that I post on here 4 times a week. I post once a week on my Book Talk channel. I post daily blog post reviews over on my blog. And at the same time, I'm trying to do like a little bit of TikTok and shorts, but that's really been on the back burner because I got a little bit busy in May. And so that was like the first thing I could cut. I knew I could cut that out. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more by me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.